Welcome to another St. Pete by Night production. The following is rated for mature audiences and may contain graphic themes that will be distressing to some viewers. As always, we recommend you ensure the safety and well-being of yourself and those around you at all times. Viewer discretion is advised.
In the heart of night, we rise from shadows, calling at the moon, igniting our battles, cleansing Gaia of an endless light, until our final days we will fight. Thanks, man, we stand united as one. Evil spirits lurking with horror and dread. Little light leads us where the grave dare tread. Glory and honor, wisdom in our hand. Together we rise, take our final stand. Everywhere we run, the wind is at our back. All the warm forces we will track. From the depths of the ocean to the clouds in the sky, vampires tremble as we learn to fight. Rage across Tampa, in this fight we'll stay. Evil spirits lurking with horror and dread. Little light leads us where the brave dare tread. Glory and honor, wisdom in our hand. Together we rise, take our final stand. Rage across Tampa, in this fight we'll stay. Everywhere with the pack, let the night be our guide. In battles of honor, we shall never hide. We shall never hide.
Good evening and welcome to the St. Pete by Night Entertainment Network. St. Petersburg by Night is a World of Darkness role-playing community originating in St. Petersburg, Florida. My name is Kent, also known as Misha Kent on all social media, and I will be your storyteller tonight. It's Friday night, and you know what that means. It's time for Hounds, our Werewolf the Apocalypse 5th edition chronicles set in Tampa Bay, Florida, where a pack of young Guru have traveled from Michigan to assist the Sept of the Evening Star in combating the forces of the worm, both physical and spiritual. You can follow St. Pete by Night on all of the social media listed in the description down below, and you can join our community by following that Discord link where you could take part in one of the many activities we have running all month long. We are now offering for players to run or play in 20th anniversary or Chronicles of Darkness games as well, so head on over and join our community today. Now let's introduce our players. Players, go ahead and introduce yourselves if you please.
Hey there, everyone. My name's Nikki, and I will be playing Delphine Gaia Speaker, the Silent Strider Theurge.
Hello everybody, my name is Jay, the clown they tell you to stay away from, and I'll be playing Forest from Failures of Bonar Rune.
Hi, I'm Nevers, and I play Quinn Kelly, the Ragabush Children of Gaia.
Hey everyone, my name is Ben, and I'll be playing Raymond Gorn, the Ghost Council Philodox.
Howdy, hello, Internet. My name is Echo, and tonight I will be playing Will-O-Wisp, the Galliard of the Children of Gaia.
It's too bad nobody told Juniper about that clown comment. Anyway, let's get everyone caught up to date as to where we are now. Last week, our episode began with Forged and Juniper in the hospital and in the custody of one Aaron Foles, who was last known to be a part of the Hell Sept, now seemingly changed in some capacity. They were then loaded up into the back of a prison van and taken to Tilden Mine. We then saw Quinn go to speak to Aspen and Stakes about becoming a kinseeker, and after some back and forth questioning, it was determined that Quinn could resume their kin-seeking duties, but under the watchful gaze of Stakes, because this sept works a little differently than the sept that they come from, and so they wanted to make sure that Quinn was up to date on the events that take place within this sept, as well as the policies that they follow. We then saw Delphine and Ray try to hash things out, but really just deflect back and forth like it was a game of tennis before deciding that, yes, they were going to tell Jordan about what was going on and what the truth was behind the scenes. After the break, we saw Willow speak to the patron of the pack, Ember, where they got a little bit of advice, a little bit of guidance on how to move forward, saying that they should not stifle or silence their voice, but they should speak up because such honesty and directness is appreciated, and to let their fire continue to burn within. And then finally, Forged and Juniper arrived at Tilden Mind to be confronted by Jacob, who had Cooper in his possession, as well as a few Black Spiral dancers. After a little bit of mental torment, it broke out into fighting, as we all knew it would, and unfortunately, Forged was killed by his brother Jacob and the use of a silver bullet. But some quick thinking by Juniper had her call out to the patron spirit Fenris in one last act of desperation to make sure that Forged and Cooper could make it home safely. In exchange, she sacrificed her life in order to bring Forged back and to defeat their enemies, allowing Forged to depart. But he wasn't able to leave smoothly. He was encountered by Aaron Foles, who basically said that this was what was necessary and that this was the course of action before the end. Now, let's get to our first scene as Forged has arrived back at the cairn to report to Charles and to get some very, very hard to hear instructions. As our scene begins, we find ourselves in the cairn of the Sept of the Evening Star. It is about mid-afternoon, at which point you arrive at the cairn Forged with Cooper in tow to be greeted by Charles and Stakes. As you look around, you notice that the cairn is surprisingly empty. You don't see Eliza over at her garden. You don't see Aspen or Jester moving about. It's just Charles and Stakes at this particular moment. As you enter into the clearing of the cairn, you can see that both Charles and Stakes have very stoic, almost stony-faced expressions, especially when they realize you are alone as you arrive. They meet you about halfway across the clearing, and Charles looks to you and says, "Welcome home. Why don't you tell me what happened?"
Grim expression comes over Forge's face as he begins to recall what happened. As he'll begin by saying, everything started out okay. We got there, we decided to investigate my parents' place, the place where it all went wrong first. We tried to cover our tracks, but I guess my brother had ways of knowing we'd be there. He wasn't there, but sister answered the door. She couldn't remember me at all. She had no recollection of me. Even my own mother didn't remember me when she saw me. Found out that Jacob took my kid and changed their memories to think that I never existed, and that he was the only son who had a kid with Aaron, who apparently survived the attack.
Right? You can see that Stakes gets even more, her brow furrows even more at the mention of Aaron still being alive. A flash of hope replaced by immediate fury
we got some information about where he could be. Apparently, he had a place near the mines where the battle was in that area. Me and Juniper decided we were going to check the Hell Sept to see if anything else was there. There wasn't massive bio presence like we thought. There wasn't terrible Bane spirits running all around, at least from what Juniper said. I don't know where they were. Apparently, from what my mother described, that Jacob said he had coworkers in the area still, but we didn't really get a base of operations. After that, going to the Hell Sept, or Hell Saloon, someone marked it as their territory. I don't know who, but once we entered, it's like he force trails off as he struggles to find the words to describe what he saw in that torture room, this terrible room. He holds his son a little tighter. It's all in there. Pictures. There's a room with pictures of everyone in that battle, of people we've known in the Sept, flayed, torn to pieces. They even skinned Red and put his hide up in the room.
Stakes remains extremely silent, but you see that her lips are clenched so tight that a small trickle of blood has started to run out of the corner of her mouth. Charles glances briefly at Stakes before looking back at you. If I had to guess, it was Jacob playing mind games.
Probably. Juniper saw something that caused her to flip out, and I assume they had a gas leak set up for that occasion. I tried getting her out, but the explosion was triggered. She was left horribly injured and in a frenzy, and I had to knock her out, and I had too many wounds before that happened, and I tried to get her to safety, but passed out in the forest. And when we both awoke, we were in a hospital and cuffed with silver handcuffs. Erin walked in, and she wasn't the same. Weird nihilistic mindset, taunting us and trying to break us down. I didn't know what to do. She said she was going to take us to my brother and my son if we follow her with no conflict, no messing around, and the only choice we had.
It was probably the right choice. If they were interested in killing you, they would have, outright, when they had an opening to do so. No, they were interested in tormenting you. So the best and most direct path was to allow them to take you.
Right. They took us in some big armored van. They pretended to be police officers taking us to jail, and they took us to the mines. They resumed operations there. It seems almost, I guess, more so than before. It looks like they're all working as hard as they can just to tear up the earth, to just destroy everything in there. And we were taken through the darkness for a while into a locked room where they chained us up with silver chains. We were left waiting till Jacob arrived with my son and a few other black spiral dancers. He unchained me, tormented me, talked about needing to make a choice about either I kill him or my son or Juniper, and how awful I was doing everything you warned me about, Charles. And it almost got me, but I turned the gun on my brother to try and end his suffering, at least, maybe to let him finally rest. But I missed, and a fight broke out. Juniper breaking free from her chains, fighting the dancers. I got my son away from him and tried to protect him from Jacob shooting him, but I got shot with terrible silver bullets. And the last thing I remember before going out was having my son safely away from him on the ground, Juniper fighting the other dancers, and Jacob standing nearby. When I came to after that, I just saw everyone dead. The dancers, Jacob, and Forrest trails off, not quite having the strength to outright say her name yet. She was embers, burnt up on the ground. I don't know what in there could have caused that. They didn't have anything that would burn her. But I was surrounded by carnage, and I took my son, and I walked out, and before I left, Aaron was outside, and he asked me a few questions before just handing me the keys to the truck that she took us in and let me go.
Charles nods as he listens to everything you say and absorbs it. I know this won't bring home, at least not yet. But you shouldn't blame yourself. You were put in an impossible situation, and it's lucky either of you made it out. From the sounds of it, he did get to you. Because guns have never been your strong suit. You were already in a weakened state from your fight with Juniper. You were not in any condition to fight. From the sounds of it, neither of you were. He goaded you into a fight.
Just didn't know what to do. I didn't want to kill Juniper. I didn't want to kill anyone there, but I just felt like I had no choice. I just wanted my son safe, and I wanted to see my brother, but that wasn't him. And Boris just falls silent. He looks down as clutching his son tighter.
At this point, Charles steps up and puts a hand on your shoulder and says, "You protected Cooper. You made it out, and you are home again. I can't say anyone else in your situation wouldn't have done exactly what you did. Cannot blame yourself for the actions of others. That was not your brother. That was a distorted, twisted, tormented version that was just bound up in vengeance. You did the right thing. And I'm proud to say that I was wrong about you going up there. You have returned and you have saved an innocent child from a much worse fate. But such things always come at a cost. And unfortunately, Juniper was that cost.
Sometimes on my drive down, and even standing here, I think sometimes I'm just gonna wake up and be back in that room or in that hospital, like this doesn't feel real. And that feeling go away, Charles?
That active feeling of being there does. The weight and pain you feel from it does not. Just get used to carrying it. And it is a hard thing. But that is our life. That is our existence. It is an existence of sacrifice and loss in hopes of eventual triumph. But that is what they want. They want you to stay in that room. They want you to stay in that hospital. Because as long as you are bound up in those memories, you will not fight, not to your full potential. You are no longer a threat. Best thing you can do now is not let this sacrifice be in vain, is to push forward, to continue on, to let Juniper's sacrifice be honored and respected, not regretted and shamed.
Right. Right. I can do that. I have my son, and I can learn to be a father, and I can make sure that he grows up in a world much better than this one.
Well, that brings up an important point. Your son cannot grow up in the Sept. Speaking from experience as one who was raised in this culture from a very young age, to do so would be to deprive them of a normal human life. To expose them to a fate that they are not necessarily prepared for. In fact, we don't even know for certain if they could stay in this area safely. At this point, Stakes speaks up for the first time, clearing her throat, spitting out some of the blood from her mouth onto the ground. Actually, we do. Cooper is kin. I detected it when they first arrived in town. Charles nods his head slowly. All the more important then that he is given a chance to live a normal life, because it won't be long. And as someone who never had that opportunity, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Forged, I understand that you are carrying a great deal right now and dealing with a lot. But you have a very important decision to make. You can either walk away from the guru existence to help raise your son and be a father until he comes of age and his change occurs, or you can stay and continue to fight. But we will have to find a home for Cooper until that point. Likely with a family of Ghislaine at another sept.
Forge just standing there, wide-eyed, tensed up for long, awkward silence as he contemplates this decision, all the information he's just been given. You're telling me that he's gonna be a guru?
At this point, Stakes just nods her head.
No, can we do anything about that? No, I don't want him in this life. He deserves better.
Stakes was able to detect his coming change this early in his life. Then it is an unstoppable freight train moving down the tracks. He will change one day. It's what happens before that we must decide.
He looks to his son, Cooper, as he said, no, please. No, come on. I did all this to protect him from this, and now he's gonna be following in my shoes in all this. He's gonna be stepping in this fight. Fuck.
There was a time that seemed to be the only way Guru were made. It's a surprise that it is still happening.
I guess Gaia has a funny way of working, huh?
Well, consider this. If we knew, they likely knew too. And Cooper could have been raised as a black spiral dancer, which is a much, much worse fate.
You're right. It could have been much worse for him, and another shadow of my brother could have been made. How long do I have to make this decision?
Not long. I wouldn't wait more than a week or two. With the cult of Fenris in the area, we know that they have kin seekers and they are actively seeking out kin. And they are being very violent about it. We need to get him safe and far away from here as soon as possible to avoid another conflict with them, because they will not stop.
If we manage to deal with the dancers and the cult of Fenris and make things better down here, especially all the leeches, is there a chance he can come back? If things are good?
Charles takes a deep breath and lets out a long sigh. Most likely no. Because the threats never cease in this life. Whether it's Pentex, the dancers, the cult, the leeches, even humans pose a threat to us. If you want him to be safe and have the best chance of a normal childhood, normal as it can be, considering the circumstances so far, he will need to stay away until his coming of age.
How soon can that be? Coming of age, if it's gonna happen no matter what, it probably will happen on the sooner end, right?
Possibly. These things tend to be unpredictable. It is usually around the time of coming of age for humans, anywhere from 16 to 20, but we have seen some happen later than that.
Or just feeling the weight of this whole situation on him right now. Not only having to throw away his hope with his brother, his family remembering him, and his packmate Juniper dying. Now he has to either give up on this fight until his son becomes of age and just hope that everyone else can make things better, or he has to send away another important person to him so that he can try and make things better for them. And as it kind of weighs on him, he'll say, before he's sent away, can I spend time with him at least?
1 week. I think that's already pushing it, but I think we can make sure you have at least a week together. After that, I think the best course of action is to take him to the Georgia Sept. It is one of the more quiet and peaceful septs, and they likely will have connections, at the very least, for where he can go.
George will nod, and okay. I will make sure he's ready to go by the end of the week.
You could go with him, if that is what you desire. But either way, He needs to have a real childhood. Can you give that to him?
I don't know. That's why it will be best for him to go. Because I have to make up for what Sean and Juniper gave me, their sacrifices. And if I stepped out of this fight now, if I left my pack, everything going on here, this new nation, I don't think I would be honoring what the chances they gave me to make things even 5% better in this fucking world. I've seen the depths of the spiral of what they do, what the twisted things they've done. I've seen them tear up the earth for no reason. They just talked about some clean slate and how things just are terrible now, so they need to be destroyed. And I can't let that get to him. I can't let them get close to my son with that. He deserves a chance of this world too, not some self-brought about apocalypse.
That's a very mature decision and a difficult one to make. I believe it is the right one, Forged. I believe there is a lot you can do for this sept, for this nation, and for this fight, but more importantly, for your son. Because we need to think about who comes after us. It's easy to be selfish in the moment and decide what would make us happy. And sometimes we can find that happiness. But if we don't think about the future, there won't be a future. And I know you want a future for your son.
Crazy how it took all this for me to realize that and to at least grow up. I wish it didn't have to come at the cost of Juniper and Sean giving up his life too, but I'll make sure to do them both proud, to at least leave a world that they would have liked behind.
Good. We all see something in you, Forged. They did too. Or else they wouldn't have done what they did. Take some time. This is a very difficult decision, and you will likely go back and forth on it over the week. But when the time comes, I truly believe you will make the right decision. For yourself, for your son, for the sept. At this point, he gives your shoulder a squeeze, having not removed his hand the whole time. You're home now. You are safe. And we will do everything in our power to make sure Cooper stays that way, whether it's here or elsewhere.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Stakes. I appreciate everything you've done for me. At this point, Forge finally lets himself feel a little at ease, which just causes a wave of exhaustion to hit him. He just almost slouches in on himself. I need to rest. I've been driving for forever without stopping. If there's somewhere I can sleep.
Stakes, who has been stony and stoic this whole time, finally cracks a little as she steps up and gives you a very awkward hug. I'll take you home, Stakes says.
Thank you.
I will watch the child while you sleep.
If you can get someone else in the pack to get some baby food, I'd appreciate it. I'm not good on which one they like, just any. He needs to eat, and Force just kind of trails off, thinking about everything he might need to do in this week to take care of his child.
Charles says, I'll make sure it's taken care of.
After, Forge will make sure to give a tight squeeze to Stakes, kind of allowing this moment to give him the little bit of boost and energy he needs to at least get home, to at least get somewhere safe to rest. After he pulls away, he'll stand up a bit straighter and says, all right, let's go. I should be good enough to make it back.
As you and Stakes depart the cairn with Cooper, what's going through your mind after all of this?
Forge is trying really hard to fight against the overwhelming feelings, negative emotions that have been kind of brought about by what happened in hell, about the loss of his packmate, about the loss of his brother, of his family, the sense of grief, shame, and almost hopelessness over what he saw, about what Aaron was saying of more to come and how this won't stop. He's fighting against it, focusing on his child, about how he has his son to take care of, someone who needs him, and a pack who needs him, and a sept who needs him right now to be the rune that they need, the strength, the rock for them to rely on. And when things get better, then maybe he'll have the chance to rest, to feel these emotions, but right now he can't. He's not sure if he will make it out the other side if he does.
With an unpredictable future and ominous foreboding warnings, a decision such as the one Forged has to make doesn't come easy. Because darkness is coming. A pestilence is slowly sweeping its way across the land. Will he be ready for it? Will he make the right choice? He has a week to decide. We now transition to our next scene, later in the afternoon, within the cairn. It's later in the afternoon, in the bawn of the cairn, that we come across 3 separate guru, having had 3 vastly different experiences in their time in Tampa. 2 of them are just starting their journey throughout this city, still trying to find their place, still trying to find where they fit in, still trying to determine whether they can trust their pack mates, their sept mates, this new nation. Willow, after your conversation with Ember, you've felt more emboldened in the days that followed, a little bit more confident, holding your head a little higher. In training, you aren't as downtrodden or shy as you have been in the past, feeling more open to speaking your mind and giving your best effort. But you know from that conversation that you need to share in order to gain trust and give trust. And by offering out some vulnerability, you have been reassured that you will receive it in kind and that your pack will grow closer from it. So as a first step, taking Quinn along with you, you approach Delphine, asking to go for a walk through the woods. And as soon as you find yourselves on the bank of the Hillsborough River, you feel your time has come to speak. That all being said, the scene is yours.
So while walking, Juniper, Willow has been thinking about everything that's happened since they've gotten here, and has sort of tried to sort of get up the resolve to speak. And as they've been walking, just sort of like, is it now? No, we're gonna wait. And as we sort of stopped here at the river, it's like, I wanted to talk about some stuff that is important, if that's okay.
Delphine will arch a brow and look at Quinn before glancing over at Willow again. I mean, yeah, you could talk to me about anything, Willow.
Quinn will sit down on his bum and look at Willow, allowing her to speak whatever she wishes.
So, I know that you all have been wanting me to talk about where I've come from, when we were out here first with Juniper and with Alara, and that I need to talk about it. I've talked to Eliza, I've talked to Ember, and clearly it's time to show that I trust here and with you all. So now is the time to talk about that.
Delphine will try to resist a smile at just the little bit of the clunkiness that Willow talks in sometimes, because she finds it endearing, but she will maintain a composed face, and she'll nod to her. Well, you have my full attention, Willow.
And Willow will take a very deep breath, trying to sort of center their very active nerves talking about this. And you can kind of see the attempts to shake away the nerves in their face. They're not hiding it well. So, before Quinn found me, I spent a very long time in a cage, being poked and prodded and stabbed and things were taken from me by creatures that were all yellow with gloves and these big blue things where I should be. And they took my entire pack when they found us, and And it was when I heard the screams of one of the younger pups as they were going to do something awful that I sort of exploded. And there was banging and tiny things in skin and screaming and blood. So much blood everywhere. And then we were out. We were all out. I think I got everyone out, and lots of people were dead. And then Unicorn found me, and then I found Quinn with Unicorn after they gave me this and motions to the choker they've been wearing forever, and gave me the shadow shard thing. And yeah. So, all of that.
Delphine will have listened, her face growing a little bit more concerned and sad and angry at everything that Willow was saying. Towards the end of it, she'll have pulled a pen out of her pocket, one of the clickable ones, and she'll just hand it to Willow, and then just gesture to the clicking part. Helps with my nerves, if you want to try that.
Sort of does it once just to see, like, very slowly clicks, and then immediately understands and then starts clicking it, like, incredibly rapidly. They also gave us things to eat that weren't food, and then whatever that was, sort of took the rage out of me a little bit. I don't know what that was, but there was also that, and then also the taking of things from, like, motions to their stomach, like from here, and then the stuff in my arm, legs, and we'll pull up their sleeve that's been down and hands covered, and you will see, like, injection zones all over their arms that haven't fully healed. Like, they were done incredibly improperly and very quickly.
And is there a role that Delphine could make to ascertain what, like, she's basically trying to translate what Willow's saying, like, what she could mean by they took stuff based on, like, looking at the marks?
Sure. Give me a intelligence and either medicine or science.
Two successes?
It's kind of hard to discern based off of the way Willow is saying it what exactly they're referring to, but when she says something was taken from her stomach or her body, possibly an organ was removed. Most of the, let's just call it what it is, track marks on their arm are likely from sedatives, but it's also possible that they could have been experimenting. But we can't really say based off of the details that were given.
Delphine will have been studying without touching Willow. Just keeping, like, observing the marks and everything, and leaning back before frowning deeply. So you were part of an animal testing facility.
I guess. And, I know that there were symbols on the walls and things that meant things and were probably words, but I don't remember. So, like, when I told Alara that I don't have the thing that she thinks I have is a lot of my instincts and stuff. I don't have. I don't have them.
You don't. She pauses, trying to digest those words, just because in her mind that feels like something that can't be physically taken. And she'll look at Quinn quizzically. Was it around where, so you're the one that found her, did you have any knowledge of a facility like this in the area?
Storyteller, would I have had knowledge?
Probably not, to be honest, because if such a facility even cropped up in the area near your sept, they would have taken care of it as soon as possible. So it was probably pretty well hidden or covered up.
Quinn will say, no, we weren't told of anything. It was just kind of, I found her after she ran.
Concerning that a place like that, so close to Vermont, was basically undetected. But
well hidden. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it slips through the crack. Could have been new, too.
Did you have more that happened to you, Willow?
That's the sort of sum up of everything. And then there were other things I wanted to talk about, but I wanted to make sure that it was properly communicated how this was and stuff. Vulnerability begets vulnerability, as Ember has told me. So.
Well, I appreciate you telling me. I had a feeling it was something close to what you've explained that happened to you, just based on, and she'll gesture to the ear. But I was going to let you say it in your own time, and I am glad you finally said something.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing. I don't know if I killed all of them, so I am very scared that they will eventually come and try and find me. That is a problem. That would be a problem and bad for the sept. So that is the primary reason, as well as the vulnerability, to tell you that, because that could be a problem.
In this moment now, she's concerned that the wolves had microchips in them to track them like regular dogs. And she'll sigh a little bit. It might be something that might be a little scary for you just because of your past, but you might want to let Artie take a look at you to see if they put anything inside your body. Because humans, they're able to put little kind of like computer chips inside of animals now. It's a way for people to track down their runaway pets, and it's not uncommon for them to do it to testing animals as well.
Well, those eyes just kind of go wide as they sort of like subtly reach up to the back of their neck just to sort of scratch at. That would be bad. That would be very bad, and I would like that to not be a thing. But also, what do we do about it if that is a thing?
Artie is really good with computers and all that stuff. I'm sure he can figure out a way to disable it. Those things are usually attached to apps and stuff. Probably something very easy for him to resolve, but I would highly recommend you seeking out Artie. And from what I know about them, I've never had a pet, but from what I've seen, it's basically they just scan a part on your back. And if it's in there, well, that part on how to get it removed and deprogrammed and stuff, I'm a little less familiar on. But I can't promise it, but I don't think they'll have to do anything invasive to you.
They just take a deep breath in very slowly. Okay. Yeah, okay. I will look into talking to RT about that. Okay. Do you have any other questions for me about any of that before I move on to the other thing that was important to talk about?
Honestly, Willow, I don't. It sounds like you went through something very bad and very scary. The only thing I can think of is, do you know if your pack was able to locate somewhere safely?
Yes, and they were. That sort of leads me into the next bit. Like Willow's trying to choke back tears and it's not going very well. Ember gave me a vision, a few visions. One of them being my pack moving through the woods looking for something. So that's good. And then Rook is coming, and he is part of the many wolves, and they walk with fire and flame that is dangerous and bad, and they are headed clearly this way, and that's bad. And then the last thing that was important was a van rolling down the highway, bars on the windows. And they sort of stop and they really squinch their face and their eyes trying to remember the words. That Livingstone County Detention Center that left behind a long worm-like shadow heading this way, meaning destruction, pain.
So, above table, Kent, I did a lot of reading when we were going to hell initially for the mission to try to get iron and get the subs to work with us. Do I know that Tilden mine was in Livingston County?
Well, Tilden mine isn't in Livingston County. Hell is close to Livingston County.
Okay. All right. She pauses at the mention of Livingston County and thinks of the mission that Juniper and Forged are currently in. And she sighs a little bit. I have an idea of what the truck is about, but I'd rather focus, and she'll look at Quinn now a little sternly. Would that Guru, would Rook have gathered a bunch of other Guru to just track you down?
Probably not. I don't know what other Guru he's obtained that aren't part of this sept. I doubt he would go Fenris. He's a Red Talon. They wouldn't do that.
I will say they were big and angry. Wrong angry, bad angry.
But to come after me, I don't think so. Maybe, and I kind of look over to Willow and then back at Delphine. Maybe to take things back.
Delphine looks a little more concerned now because the most experience she's had with big, scary Geru that a Geru would describe is dancers. And now her mind's just like associating this vision with the stuff over in Michigan. And she'll rub the back of her neck. 2 of ours are currently on a mission in Michigan, which is where Livingston County is. And it is a place where 3 septs fell to the dancers. I don't know why Rook... And she just trails off. And you said Ember showed you these visions?
Yeah, I was asking her some questions about some stuff, and she's really great. I really like her. And she said those were my past, my present, and my future. Were those 3 separate things?
So with that context, and you said you saw your pack first, the Rook, and then the van?
Yes.
That's something to think about. I might have to get in contact with Juniper and Forged sooner rather than later about how things are going up there, because that is concerning. And you said the last place that you detected this Rook individual was in Georgia?
That was the last place I smelled him and felt his presence. But after that, we were kind of in a truck for a while, so I couldn't really track properly. So.
Would you consider, Quinn, Rook a threat to this sept?
Quinn ponders this for a moment. I think if what Willow's vision is showing is he's doing something else that I would assume him to be doing, then yes, he is a large threat to this sept.
Thing is, visions from spirits don't always mean... They aren't always interpreted correctly, and she'll wince a little bit at that. So, it could be that this Rook individual might be something, so it might be involved in something we could be potentially combating here soon. It could also be that he's, I don't know, but I'm hesitant to make any assumptions on a vision. I don't know this individual. I just know what you've told me about him, and all I do know is that he is a Geru of the nation from Vermont, very close to the sept of the North Country. I would have a hard time imagining a Geru like that of doing anything that would be outside the laws of the litany.
I agree.
I do think we need to maybe be alert for if he does show up around here. I know that Saguru and others show up seemingly spontaneously in Tampa. And I'll have to mention this to Charles just because as the warder and with some of the leadership currently indisposed on a mission, we should keep alert while they're away. Willow, is there anything else? This is your time to say whatever's on your mind. You as well, Quinn. I know you guys haven't been here long, but I would like for you guys to think of this as a home for you too.
I do have a mild grievance I would like to mention.
Okay.
And we'll sort of look at Quinn. I am not a puppy.
Yes, I'm aware of this.
No, you're not.
Okay.
Everyone else here, as much as I care for you because you are tribe and you have done things I will never be able to repay, you still see me as a pup and not an equal. And that is wrong.
I'm sorry if I made you feel like you are still a pup. That is not my intent.
I know I am limited in what I've been able to do because there are parts of me that are missing. But I'm still trying to learn, and everyone just sees me as, oh, look at the poor pup. And that's not okay. So that's why I'm trying to grow more and to be vulnerable. But it feels like you still see me as the lost creature you found in the woods. A little bit.
Hold on. That is not true. Out of everyone in this sept, I'm the one that's been telling everyone that you are smart, that you are growing, and you are trying your best.
If I may, Willow, I think the word, if I may, the word you might be trying to come up with is called patronizing, where someone makes you feel like they're helping you in a way that almost feels like it's belittling you or making you feel small.
Yes. And I do not think there is mean intentions or bad intentions behind it. It's just you still sort of, even though you are attempting to defend my ability and stuff, it's still that word that Delphine said. So,
Sure. How's this? I won't protect you.
Okay, hang on. First off, I don't think that's correct, and she looks at Quinn. I think no matter what, all pack mates and set members should protect each other. But also, Willow, you've seen Stakes, right? You see how she looks the same age, if not younger, than myself and the rest of our pack?
yes.
She still calls us her pups. She found every single one of us. She found me, she found Forged, she found Ray, and she found Juniper. And she still calls us her pups. Juniper calls her mom. But she is still our equal. In fact, I'm the pack leader, and I still would say that she ranks above me. A kinseeker will never stop thinking of you as their pup because they found you and they were the first ones to take care of you. I don't think Quinn means to call you a pup, his pup, in a condescending way. I think he means it in a way to care for you. Will I admit that yes, some of us have been treating you a little bit like a puppy? Yes, and I apologize for that. You have had a more youthful energy, more innocent energy than any of us have been used to in this life. And it's been joyous. I can't help but smile when you have this energy, because it is like someone brought a light into what is normally a very gloomy day.
Well, when everything happened and I really figured out what I was and am, I have already seen the worst things I can imagine. So, as a Galliard, it is my job to make sure there is a brightness where it is dark and painful, so it hurts just a little less. All I want to do is make it hurt a little less, because I know how much it hurt me.
She'll pause at that, kind of a little moved by it, if I'm being honest. And she'll smile at Willow, and that's needed, especially here. I can't speak for my packmates, but I can tell you that all of us have not had the best childhoods or lives. Every single one of us has had a very dark haze over us. And I do think that you bringing that energy is something that this pack very much needs. I can promise that, at least for me, and I will speak with the rest of the pack about it as well, I will not treat you like a puppy. I will treat you as an equal, and I will help you, and I will help teach you things, and I will not coddle you when I teach you these things.
I do not want to be babied. I want to learn and to be seen as someone who can learn.
All right. Then we'll start doing that. And I know I've been starting you with teaching you how to human. So then next week, we'll dive right into getting you used to the city. Because that's something you're going to need to get used to.
Okay. I can do that. That is something I can do. I will learn and I will grow.
Now, and she'll look at between Quinn and Willow. I do think that you two and she'll look between you then meaningfully.
Yeah.
Finish your words, leader.
And you guys just make up.
I said it was a small grievance. I didn't say it was a big issue. It's not a big issue. It's just a thing I wanted to bring up because now is the time to bring things up. That's still my brother.
I won't baby you. I have other things to take care of anyways.
Okay, good. And that big old bright smile just returns to Willow's face and she's like, okay, good. All of the things are good now. And we did the things and I said the things and I kind of want to throw up. But that's fine.
Don't do that. That's not good.
Lots of nerves happened and my stomach is now very upset. But everything else is good. So yes, good. Yes, good. Yeah, we're good.
She'll look at Quinn. Is everything good with you?
Quinn will put on a very masked fake smile. Let me know if you need me to roll for that.
Yeah, manipulation and subterfuge versus wits and insight.
Rage 1?
Yeah.
I'm gonna burn willpower.
5 successes.
3.
Okay.
He'll
Quinn's
smile
fine.
and he'll say, "Oh, everything's perfectly fine. I think we're gonna move into a great position."
Okay. Right over her head. And it is very evident in her face that she believes you.
So as the conversation concludes, you all head back to the cairn proper. Delphine, as soon as you arrive in the cairn, Charles is waiting for you and pulls you aside, saying, "I have something to tell you." This is where we'll go to break. We'll be back in just a few minutes with the second half of tonight's story. St. Petersburg by Night is brought to you through collaboration with our partnered vendors, Chromatic Creations, Panchi Artista, Ember Fox Dice, Champs Tramps, and Howl and Hop Tea. Links to our partnered vendors, as well as our Twitch and YouTube channels, can be found on our website, stpetebynight.com. You can follow St. Pete by Night on all socials with the hashtag St. Pete by Night. If you wish to support our programs, you can do so at ko-fi.com/St. Pete by Night to help keep the stories rolling. Welcome back. It's later in the evening that same very day. Early evening, to be precise, the sun setting on the horizon. And Raymond and Delphine have a very important appointment. An appointment with the newly minted Ghislaine Jordan, who is about to learn just how deep the rabbit hole goes in this world. But before that, Delphine was given a very important update as to the status of things happening in Michigan. Now, Delphine, it can be easily assumed that you went by the house to try and find Forge, but were greeted by Stakes, who simply told you he's sleeping, go away, he'll talk to you later. At which point you went to meet up with Raymond. The heaviness of all this information, as well as all of the unknown coming along with it. But you're a professional, you're a leader. You're going to do your best to not let it affect you. We'll see just how well that goes as the two of you arrive in the neighborhood of Raymond's house, now Jordan's primary residence. Pulling the truck up out front of the house, since I assume Raymond drove, the scene is yours.
So Delphine likely would have just been mostly quiet for the drive, just like chiming in here and there, but mostly with like just a couple of acknowledgements if Ray tried to make small talk. And just in her mind is the update and Stakes telling her to go away. And just, she can hear her heartbeat in her ears, but she is doing her best to remain composed and keep it together. Because in the very back of her mind is the conversation she had with Ray and him pointing out if she would be able to keep it together when someone didn't come back. And now every part of her just wants to prove that she can, so she is trying to channel the most composed person she knows, her mentor, Charles Albrecht.
There's also the lingering tension from the conversation. Though a lot was laid out on the table, not everything was resolved. A plan of action was set forward to approach Jordan and to fill him in on what had happened. But Raymond, how are you feeling at this current moment, considering everything that's happened so far?
Currently, Ray's feeling nervous, not only because he's now going to be telling Jordan everything if that's what he wants, but also, like, over the past 4 weeks, me and Delphine have only had like one conversation, and it didn't go the best. And so now going together to try and fill him in, hopefully there's not any lingering repercussions from that conversation. Like, we don't butt heads in the middle of trying to explain something as serious as, you know, what we are, the situation, and what actually happened to Jordan.
So as you've parked the truck, preparing yourself for the unexpected, climb out of the cab and make your way up the walk to the front door. As you knock on the door, a few moments later, it opens and Jordan is standing in the doorway, and he looks somewhat surprised to see both of you at the same time. In his hand, he clutches a sweater, a women's sweater, and he says, "Oh, hey guys, come on in."
She'll nod and step inside, giving him a polite greeting.
What's up?
I'll follow after Delphine, kind of patting Jordan on the shoulders. I'm walking by. So, remember the last, big conversation we had, and I said that I wanted to tell you everything about the situation and what happened, what we're going through and everything, but if I did, potentially there could be some consequences on your end for knowing.
Oh shit, am I getting the talk today? He says as he passes the sweater to Delphine awkwardly.
She'll take the sweater, giving a nod. Thanks. Sorry I left it here when I dropped off all that stuff.
All good.
I want to insight that.
Sure.
There's something.
Yeah, roll wits and insight.
What am I rolling?
Nothing.
Okay.
Oh, it's my
'Cause
best
you
friend.
told the
I
truth.
want to figure. Yeah, this is my best friend now, and I'm trying to suss something out. 4 successes.
She's right. She left the sweater when she came to drop the stuff off. However, there's definitely a noticeable chemistry here. There's definitely, Jordan making some eyes at Delphine. It's noticeable.
Okay, I'll clock that and just kind of save that for later. This is not the time to try to discuss that. But yes, yeah, today is the day that you get to talk. But I do have to preface it. You knowing means that you're all in, that you're a part of what is going on with me and with us.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of thought that was obvious based off of the was tied to a chair, now not tied to a chair, still alive thing.
I get it. But if we tell you and you don't like what you hear, or it's too confusing, you don't want a part of it, then Unfortunately, you're out of luck. You're a part of it no matter what.
Are you guys in like some sort of secret supernatural branch of the government or something? Because this is very like, if I tell you, I'll have to kill you type style. And I've already had enough of that in the life before this life.
If we tell you, we won't be the ones that have to kill you.
Right, the suit. Okay, well, I'm gonna need a beer for this. Ray, you want one?
Sure.
And Delphine, can I get something for you?
I'll just have some water, thank you.
Okay. He walks into the kitchen as you both head into the sitting room. Not the sitting room, not the, scary one, but the living room. And you see that there's a couch there, a secondhand couch that has been bought, and it looks like a couple of chairs as well, like armchairs, but they are all mismatched furniture. This is definitely secondhand store purchases in the living room, but it's starting to feel a little bit more homey, not as dark and scary, although it looks like the front closet has been sealed.
So, I do want to iterate that you being told isn't the only choice, Jordan. We talked to a friend of ours. He's willing to make you the identity, and if you just decide you want nothing to do with it, you can take it and go.
Comes back into the living room with 2 beers and a bottled water, passing one over to Raymond and then giving you the bottled water as he says, I appreciate that. I think I have to know. You don't have an experience like that happen to you and just move on with your life and just assume it didn't happen. And to be quite honest, I would always wonder, and then I'd eventually come back anyway for answers, and I don't think I could be out there knowing that there's something going on that I don't have all the details about and having to just live with it. Also, it just wouldn't be me. I'm not a witness protection kind of guy.
She'll nod, and then she'll look to Ray and just nod to him, letting it's his friend, it's his secret to tell.
Ray will kind of take a deep breath and let it out, trying to figure out exactly where to start. Because he feels like there's no real good place to start. So, I guess to start, do you want to first know what we are or what happened to you? I guess that's a good starting point.
Well, I assume it was some kind of exorcist shit that happened to me. Minus the vomiting. In fact, I felt like I was taking everything in rather than projecting everything out. I guess start with you.
Okay, do you have any memories of the hospital when we were there at all?
I got flashes of when we got there, but not much after that.
So, as far as you're aware at this point, I was able to get you out somehow, cross multiple countries and make it back here to the US. And, I did that by I'm trying to figure out how to say this without not sounding crazy. Layman's term, I turned into a werewolf.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
All right, listen, when I said you could tell me, I expected you to tell me the truth, not start recounting some kind of Mary Shelley bullshit.
Delphine will look to Ray and just give a look like, I mean,
I think we can get this over with now, and it'll be easier for you to digest at this point and to accept what I'm going to say. And then, for the first time ever, I am going to go into my lupus form.
Okay. Dropping down on all fours, the ground growing a lot closer, but at the same time, all of your senses activating with more intensity than usual. Unless you purposefully focus on activating those senses, they're normally within a fairly reasonable range. But this, they hit like a freight train. Everything seems brighter. Everything smells stronger. And you could hear a pin drop down the hallway. At that moment, as soon as you drop down, your clothes evaporating to be replaced by fur, hands and feet replaced by paws, Jordan drops his beer onto the ground and stumbles back a few feet. Oh shit.
Delphine will stand up. Will stand up a little bit, and then she'll like lean down to pick up the beer, and she'll go to stand next to Ray and put a hand on his back because she knows that he does not like. He was very hesitant the one time that they did suggest putting him going into lupus form. She knows he doesn't like this, so she'll put a hand on his back as a sign of support and look at Jordan. He's telling the truth, as you can tell.
Jordan blinks a few times, cocking his head to the side. Have you always been like this? Wait, do you even understand English when you're like that?
I will nod, and I will kind of walk towards Jordan, a little awkward, since this is probably one of the first times Ray has ever been in lupus form, and kind of headbutt his knee.
Jordan at first kind of stumbles back a little further as you approach, but then stops, taking a deep breath and allowing you to bump your head against his knee. He reaches down and... Okay, no, I'm not. I can't. Scratching you seems so weird. I always knew you had that dog in you, but not like this.
I will look down disappointed and walk a few steps back and then turn back into Hamid.
Okay, so if I understand correctly, you turned into a werewolf at the hospital, but you weren't always... Oh, did you get bit by a wolf as a kid or cursed by a witch or something?
It doesn't work like that at all.
And you can do that too.
I can prove it, but you've already seen one dog today.
That's fair. Okay.
Also, I exorcised a bane out of you, so I think that...
Yeah, but I think Ray would get jealous if I pet you. Anyway, okay, so... But everything I've seen movies and like you can't control it. Is it like a full moon? It's not even a full moon right now.
Okay. Forget about 90% of what you know about werewolves. And no, I was not bit. I was not cursed. I have full control most of the time. And when I change forms, my turn was kind of prompted at the very beginning. The starts of it was when we were attacked out on patrol. That's what kind of kickstarted it. And then when we were in the hospital and you were going to get taken away by some suits that were up to no good, planning on taking you away, doing something horrible to you, that's what fully prompted my change.
Yeah, what was that about then? What were the suits and all of that?
Without getting into too much of info dump, because there's still a lot and I don't want to overwhelm you.
You just turned into a wolf in the living room, Raymond. I think overwhelmed barely scratches the surface.
No, that's fair. They were part of a organization called Pentex. Pentex has a bunch of subsidiaries and different groups and subcommittees and whatever you want to call them, and they all do different things. The one that was trying to take you away was one that was going to use you and the Bane inside of you for experimentation.
Pentex is like Wayland Yutani in the Alien movies.
Oh, or like Skynet or that kind of thing. Just big corporation. Got it. Okay. Okay, you keep using the word Bane. I assume that's the ghost or demon or whatever it was that was inside of me.
Spirit. So everything around us has a spirit. The trees, the animals, the air, even the microwave. And some spirits manifest as banes. Negative energy. And this bane that possessed you, that turned you into what we refer to as a Fomori. It was a bane of famine.
Gesundheit.
Which is why you always felt hungry. And why you felt like you could never be sustained.
So it was basically a spirit of hunger or something like that.
Essentially, yes. And ordinarily, in situations like the one you were in, I won't beat around the bush, Fomoris are usually eliminated.
I definitely understand that. Okay. So, if werewolves are real, does that mean like vampires and, I mean, ghosts, or ghosts as we assumed
Yes.
them, like...
Vampires, 100%, and in the city as we speak, we are currently in a truce with them.
But that can change at any moment.
One of them used to deal me drugs. Though he was a diet version.
Is it too late to take that other identity off the table?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, figured as much. Okay, so vampires are real. Werewolves are real. You have some sort of underworld truce.
I just found out Fae are real too.
Okay, now you're just pulling my leg. Now you're just fucking with me.
No, unfortunately, no.
It's not just werewolves either. There's were-rats and were-gators.
Were-bats. That's one too.
Were-bats. Yeah, the were-gator can actually turn into a dragon.
Okay. How do people not know about this? Or do they know? Or like, I'm confused. Because there's books and stuff. Isn't that bad?
It's so it affects most people. Most people, their brains, ordinary individuals, they can't comprehend what they see if they were to see a werewolf. It's too much for their brains to handle, and they experience something we refer to as delirium. It's like a haze, but some people, like you now, aren't affected by it. Ghislaine is what we would refer to you as.
Names are so fucking stupid, I gotta tell you.
We didn't come up with that.
Oh, I'd assume not, but that's Ghislaine?
I mean,
Okay.
we're technically not werewolves, we're Geru.
Alright. So, werewolf is not a technical term. It's like a slur.
Not a slur, but not correct.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to remember, so don't take it personally. Okay. So what... So I assume just knowing about all of this is why the hush-hush secrecy, you tell anyone will kill you vibes that I'm getting off of this. Because you guys need to be a secret?
It's a veil. We have a veil around society where they can't know about us. If people knew, they can't handle this. There would be pitchforks and torches.
That's how the movies usually end, yeah.
It would also make our job a lot harder.
Okay, so yeah, what's your job? I mean, I assume it's not stealing babies out of their beds, or else you might as well kill me because I'm going to have a problem with that.
No. Remember when I mentioned that, I'm now fighting another war?
Right? But not against the vampires.
Technically, but werewolves are soldiers that have been chosen to fight off corruption, like the bane that affected you. Supposed to help cleanse the world.
You're doing a bang-up job. Is it too early for jokes?
No.
Okay.
If humor helps, it's fine. But, so the Earth is alive, and we refer to her as Gaia. She's our mother.
Fuck
She's
me.
the one that chose us. She's the one that gave us this gift to be her warriors. Because there's this thing called the Triad: the Wild, the Weaver, and the Worm. This circle almost of creation. Well, the Worm is out of balance right now, and that's why you're seeing things as they are. It's out of control, and nothing is in balance anymore, and it's trying to usher forth the apocalypse.
So like a hippie rendition of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. You're a hippie, Raymond.
I literally didn't ask for this life.
Yeah, okay, so that's a question, I suppose. How does it happen? If it's not by getting bit or by, I don't know, getting cursed or whatever, like, how does it happen?
You get chosen by Gaia. As far, I mean, as everyone really knows, it's random. You're just chosen.
And we keep getting told that Gaia doesn't make mistakes. As much as some of us, and she looks to her lap, have tried thinking otherwise.
All jokes aside, I mean, if it is like you say, and there's a war happening and all of that, I understand why they pick you, I guess. Huh. Okay, so it's completely random. Like, there's no telling who it could happen to and when.
I mean, who? No. But when? It's usually around late teens, early 20s. That's usually when someone turns.
I was 19.
You almost missed that bus.
Yeah, I was 20.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I almost feel a little inadequate. So what does me knowing this, like, how could I even possibly help? I went from machinist Christian Bale to, well, I'm working on Batman Begins Christian Bale, but I'm not Werewolf.
Ghislaine serve their purpose in our society. Because, I mean, you brought in the Batman analogy. Batman always needed Alfred. We need
So I'm your
people.
butler.
No, but we need people to help us.
So I'm Robin.
It's a kind of a better analogy, yeah. We interact as best we can with, normal people that aren't like us, but there's always a separation and there's always, secrets we can't tell. So there's always going to be questions. There's always going to be things we can't explain. And Ghislaine is the bridge.
So I can help by being kind of like a go-between between the regular world and your world?
In a way, yes. But the thing that I was asking for your help in was a lot more than the regular world and more into our world and the spirit world.
Oh, okay. So you need the generator fixed at that place because spirit needs it?
A spirit does need it, yes, but we're also attempting to open another cairn. A cairn is... There are places, like our bases, our home bases.
The Batcave.
Our Batcaves, yeah.
Okay.
But they're places where the spirit world and the regular world are, where that barrier is thinnest.
So hearing all these words makes me think Werewolf started in Ireland or Scotland or something like that. But okay, So by fixing the machine, you'll have a bat cave.
We'll have the start of the Batcave. Opening and finishing the Batcave is a much larger project, but fixing that machine is an important first step.
Okay. Cigar factory is an interesting choice for a bat cave, but okay. All right. I know there's going to be a lot more questions over time, but this is a lot. But I think I get the baseline of it, and I get that this is secret. How long's this been going on? Like, how long have werewolves been a thing, or vampires been a thing?
Vampires, I couldn't tell you, but for werewolves, I mean, a very long time. Our history is more orated than written.
Okay, so, well, you guys must be doing a pretty good job keeping the secret. Although, again, books, movies, the like, but,
don't get me wrong, there's people that are normal that know that we exist and will actively... Do you watch Supernatural?
heard of it?
Well, there's a lot of there's Sams and Deans in the world too that hunt supernaturals down.
Monster hunters.
Yeah.
That. Okay. Well, I guess I can try and help as best as I can. I mean, yeah, that's a lot. It'll take some time to get used to that. But I guess it makes a lot of sense. Like, all the secrecy and the weird... He touches where the burn on his chest clearly is, the weird exorcism, and sorry I called you a monster, Ray. I assume that's offensive still.
A little, but I mean, you were kind of not wrong in a sense, but
Yeah. It's not entirely inaccurate because we are, in a sense, monsters and we are dangerous.
But you can control it, right? It's not going to just pop out of you and cause you to go eat a virgin or something.
She looks uncomfortably at Ray because there have been many a frenzy in their pack.
no, it's not going to cause us to go out and eat a virgin, but you know, to really, I guess, control what we are requires anger. You know, sometimes when you get so angry that you lose control, it happens. We try to control it, we try to make it not happen, but sometimes you see red.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, if humans can do it, why can't Gary, Indiana, or Guru, or whatever it is you said? I appreciate you telling me. I know there was a lot of red tape to cut through to get to that, but I appreciate being in the know, and I won't tell anyone. I won't. Man, Raymond is a werewolf. Okay. Got that.
All
All
of us
right.
are.
So everybody that was at the house that night?
Yes.
Yeah. Forged, Juniper, and she trails off.
Okay. Am I going to meet all of them?
Eventually, yeah, you will.
Okay. Is being Ghislaine a paying gig? Still gotta
No.
eat.
But that bat cave we're looking into, we're gonna try to turn into a food pantry, but food pantries aren't exactly known for turning a profit, so I have money coming in a couple months. I can try to give you some compensation for your... And she trails off.
So you're offering to be my sugar mommy? Is that it?
I don't like that word.
Okay. I was just kidding. No, you don't have to give me any money. I've got some
No,
gig work.
no, legitimately, if we're bringing you on, and if we do open up this cairn, and we're trying to have it be beneficial to the community at large in that part of Ybor, we would need people to help run it, and it would be only fair that you receive payment, like a wage for that.
So is there like dangers threatening your cairn?
Always.
I can still put some of those soldier skills to use. Okay. Okay. That is a lot. I know I keep saying it, but it's a lot.
It's still a lot.
Yeah, how did you handle all this?
Me?
Both of you, any of you, like all this information, and it's so bizarre.
Well, I was already addicted to meth at the time, but I just kept doing it.
Seems like that wouldn't be okay with Gaia or whatever. Or maybe it would. I don't know.
No.
And, in my case, shut everything else off and you just think about the mission and think about the information handed to you and just compartmentalize. You can kind of get through anything.
Yeah, that sounds about right. You always were able to keep your cool.
When I think about it more, that's probably another purpose the Ghislaine serve. They're not us, but they know about us, and they're that little bit of humanity that we can lean on when it gets rough.
So wait, the suit and the fancy car that keeps driving by here, is that one of the Pentex people?
No. That's one of our superiors, and he's... I think he's friendly enough. And she'll look at Ray.
Think of the, biggest a-hole drill instructor we had back in boot camp. That's him.
Oh, great. Does he know he
Hey.
dresses like a vampire?
Hey, lay off. And she'll look at both of them a little sternly, a little in defense of her mentor.
I'm not. I was giving an example that he could relate to. Because you gotta admit that our first experience and the training we went through, it's kind of exactly what he was at the time.
He was just trying to prepare us, and he just takes everything about this life and keeping all of us safe very seriously.
That's exactly what drill instructors do.
So that's why you kept leaving, was to go to boot camp.
Yeah.
Got it. Why did we come here? Why didn't we stay up there?
That
I mean,
was,
I suppose if there was anywhere that vampires and werewolves and everything would be, it's Florida, because the stories coming out of there make you think that there's something crazy happening in the world.
Yeah, but I mean, vampires, werewolves, everything, they exist everywhere. You know, this might be a congregation of them all. You know, can't think of the correct word at the time or right now, but we left up north because a request of help from down here came. And at the time we had a rocky relationship with the people up there, and so we got sent down here.
Me and Forge were exiled.
Because of the math?
Because we have laws that we follow under our society, and me and Forged, we broke some of those. We were shamed, and as punishment, we were sent down here.
Werewolves have laws. I mean, other than don't tell anyone you're a werewolf.
Yeah, we have a few.
Really is like the military.
It's almost exactly like the military in some senses.
Okay. Well, maybe if I frame it that way, it'll make more sense. Just the low man on the totem pole in the military. Been there, done that. That's not hard to get around. Okay. Okay. Yeah, then I'll be Alfred or Robin or whatever and help out with the building of stuff. And can you teach me how to look out for like vampires and stuff so that I can help in that way, or am I just gonna constantly be surprised?
We can teach you. We can teach you what we know about what hurts them and how to spot them. Unfortunately, they're very good at playing tricks.
It'd have to be, or else we'd know by now, I'm sure. Okay. And silver, is that a thing, or is that one of those fairy tales?
Very long, quiet pause between Delphine and as she stares at Ray.
I'll look back at Delphine.
I don't think we should cover ways that hurt us just necessarily.
So I'm defenseless if I deal with a rampaging werewolf? That seems
How
fair.
about this?
Also,
how
I
about
thought you
this?
guys were going to tell me everything.
When it comes to matters of defense, the suit, I think I can have him speak to you on that.
Oh, great. Boot camp again. Cool. Okay, so I'll learn what I'm allowed to learn, I suppose, and yeah. So now I go start working on the machine.
I have to let one of our new ones, Quinn, know that you'll be in the area, and Stakes. But Stakes pretty much has an ear on everything, so she's probably already in knowing that we're going to be doing this here. I will text you when it's okay to start heading over there to start fixing it.
Okay.
We can start gradually introducing you to everyone, and we'll make sure that everyone knows that you're not someone who's a threat.
All right. Sounds good. Are there any other Ghislaine around? Because I feel like we need to start a support group.
Do we know about Chloe and the bikers?
Probably not.
Okay. I'll have to ask, actually. Your guys are, like, if there are, I understand that the others would keep them quiet, keep it quiet that they exist, because we would want, our people are very protective. We're a good group. Our leadership is not, they don't think of you guys as people as tools. We want to protect everyone. And that likely includes any other Ghislaine that are in existence, but I will talk to our leader when she gets back.
Okay. Is there anything else I need to know? I'm sure, like I said, I'll have more questions, but this is already quite a bit.
Could I have... I know that I talked to Artie about getting him a license and everything, like an identity for the meantime. Could I have gotten that for him already? She'll pull out of her purse a folder and hand it to him. New identity, hot off the printer.
Cool. Okay. Thank you. This will help, at least with some things. Okay. Well, thanks for telling me. Okay, yeah, I'll remember this, and I won't tell anyone. I'll keep it quiet. I just that's a lot.
Yeah, I told you that it was going to be a lot for you to take in, and I'm sure over the next 2 weeks you're going to learn a lot more that's going to be just as much to take in.
Sure. Well, I'm going to have the rest of that beer and probably several more. You're free to stay if you'd like to, but I'm gonna take a minute.
We actually need to go.
Oh. All right. Well, you let me know when I'm needed, and I will be by the bat phone.
All right. Sounds good, Jordan. Just don't go too crazy on the beers.
No, just enough.
Delphine will stand up and she'll have like her sweater in hand and grab her purse and everything, and she'll look at Ray. I'll let you guys have a minute and I'll be out in the car.
Don't forget the second half of this arrangement.
She pauses as she's starting to walk, and she looks over her shoulder and nods at him. I didn't forget.
Okay. As she leaves, Jordan looks to Raymond and just... Dude. This is a lot, man.
Told you. I mean, I wanted to tell you when we had our last talk, but like you said, there's a lot of red tape I had to go through, and there's some stuff I would want to tell you more and explain more, but I don't know what's too much to tell, what's too little to tell. I want to give you enough information so that way you're satisfied, but I also don't want to go too crazy on it.
No, I get it. That's all right. I just... Whew. I understand why you would be super stressed about everything. We're supposed to be done with war. Now we'll get back in it. But I can't think of anyone else I'd rather be in it with. And I got you, okay? I'm sure it's gonna be fine.
Yeah, there's no one else I would rather have tag along with me on this journey. And I'll reach out and I'll slap him on the shoulder.
As usual, you get all the cool benefits and powers, and I gotta sit here with my wrench just existing.
Yeah, but you definitely have a longer life expectancy than I do.
All right, I'm not even gonna get into that right now, but just be careful, okay? And don't be afraid to let me know if you need something. I'm here. I might as well be doing something to help.
Of course. If I need any help or I need to let you know what's going on and fill you in or just talk, I'll hit you up.
Yeah.
Then I'll kind of raise my eyebrows a little bit and then look at him and then kind of look at the door that Delphine walked through. It's like, what was that last comment about?
I guess I have some secrets too. And then he actually reaches up and ruffles your hair as if he's giving you a pat as a dog, like scratches the back of your head for a moment. Now go be a good boy.
No, we're not doing that.
No? All right. That's not okay. All right. Just gotta test the boundaries, see where they're at.
Yeah, that's the boundary.
Got it. Enough with the dog jokes. Okay. Do you guys get fleas? You know what? Never mind. Just go.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. I'll see you later.
As you head back out to the truck where Delphine is waiting, you have a few moments to share with each other, or else we'll move on to our next scene.
Walking out and getting to the truck, unlocking it. I'll look up at Delphine. That didn't go as bad as I thought it could have.
Yeah, he handled it really well.
Yeah, he did, but that's kind of how he's always been. Are you okay? You've been kind of off the entire conversation. More than I thought you would be from, the aftermath of our conversation.
She'll be silent for a few moments, her thumb going across her phone as she's texting the pack to meet at the cairn. And as she hits send, she'll look to Ray very seriously with a bit of a darkened and distant expression in her eyes. Borscht is back.
I will take a second and open my mouth to ask the question, but from the look and from how she said it, because I've seen that look plenty of times before, I will also, face will darken a little bit, and I will nod and open the car door and say, okay, let's go to the cairn.
With that, we transition to our final scene of the evening. It's late in the evening. The sun has officially set and has been set for quite some time. You've all been notified about an important meeting to take place with the pack at the cairn. So all of you are brought together. Forged Stakes has let you sleep a good majority of the day and has let Cooper take a nap as well, but has awoken you, saying it's time to go talk to the rest of the pack. As everyone arrives, entering into the clearing, a fire's been built in the center hearth, the flames roaring, but otherwise the cairn is quiet, even for how normal quiet can be here. There's a distinct absence, a lack of an overall presence, and that makes, for those of you that are aware, this meeting feel even more heavy and solemn. One by one you arrive, gathering around the fire. Scene is yours.
Forge would be sitting probably the furthest away from the fire that he could, holding Cooper in his arms as he sits down. He is dressed in whatever clothes he could find first, just basic t-shirt, shorts, as he kind of has a very distant look to his face, but looks exhausted even after all the sleep he's gotten, as he just kind of sits there and stares into the fire, very kind of out of it right now.
Delphine, upon seeing him, will have a moment of relief and just joy at seeing him there, and she sees the baby in his lap, and she's both relieved and happy about that as well, but she can't help but look around. And even though she already knows, just based on how Charles said it, she can't help but keep looking, and looks in the bushes and the trees, expecting her to come out.
Ray will walk over and sit down a couple spots away from Forge, giving him space. Seeing that look on his face, he knows what that look is about: the exhaustion, the 1,000-yard stare, and he's happy to see Forged, but that knowing that one person's now missing, Ray's experienced that loss before many times, but it still hits hard every single time. And so that happiness is there, but there's that just knot in his stomach as he sits down and just kind of looks around and then settles on the fire as well.
Quinn will enter as well, sitting next to Forge, indifferent to all of the faces around, his own smile, showing a bit of happiness to those who can't read him well. And he'll sit down and look at the child sitting there, looking confused momentarily, but sit quietly still.
Willow is sitting right up next to the fire and is whispering into it, seemingly not getting the vibe, just fully just happy that there is fire and I can sit there and warm my bare feet. And unfortunately unaware of all of the sad.
Meanwhile, Cooper is sat upon Forge's lap and is just reaching up and grabbing at long, loose strands of hair from the messy man bun that has clearly not been well kept ever since the incident, and is just reaching up for locks of hair and pulling them into his mouth and just like sucking on the tips of hair. And off to the other side, Stakes is standing very much nearby, but closer to the edge of the light where it starts to get dark near the trees, and has her arms crossed and is still very much stoic and stony in her overall aura.
When Juniper doesn't come out after several long minutes, Delphine will turn to Forged and she'll walk over and she'll just standing in front of him, looking at him, and then looking at the baby. She'll put a hand on Cooper's head and just ask Forge, how?
I don't know. I got knocked out with several bullets, and when I came to, she was burning, and everyone else was dead.
She shuts her eyes, and one tear does go down her cheek, and she quickly wipes it away and takes a deep breath. Quinn, Willow, Forged, he's back from that mission I told you about. Forged, can you please tell us what happened? What?
Forge sigh that he sits up a little bit more in his chair. Mission went well in the beginning. We checked on my family. My brother did some weird mind thing to them. None of them knew who I was. None of them remembered me. We went from there to the Hell Saloon. Found out that found some messed up stuff there. Made Juniper fly into a frenzy. They set up a gas leak there, and I tried getting her out. An explosion happened. She had to knock her out of her frenzy. I took too much damage from her and the explosion, so I ran to the woods with her before I went down myself. Woke up to find us in silver handcuffs and Aaron with there.
Aaron died.
Part of her did, but no, she I don't know if she got captured. I assume she did, but she's working for the Spiral now.
Did she talk to you at all? Like, what exactly did she say when you woke up in the hospital?
She kept talking about how much of a failure we were, how we ruined things, how the end was coming, and that we needed to embrace that didn't matter what was going to happen, that the worm was going to win. And she took me and Juniper to the mines where that big battle happened, where everyone else died. They resumed operations there. They're tearing up the earth like they're looking for something, but I think they just want to destroy everything there. Took us to a locked room in the mines, and Jacob showed up with my kid. And one thing, he made me try to make a decision that to kill Juniper, my son, or him. I decided to try and kill my brother to free him from what was happening. A fight broke out with him, 2 other dancers, and me and Juniper were heavily injured with pretty much nothing. I thought I was going to die. I got shot with silver bullets multiple times to protect my son. And when I thought that I'd finally be done with the fight, my eyes opened. I see everyone else dead. Juniper turning to ash. I don't know how. I really don't know what happened. The only people alive in that room, me and my child. I got up, went to leave. Aaron stopped me at the exit, preached more about the coming of the end and how they were coming. Gave me the keys to the car and the truck they took us to get there and let me leave.
Just let you leave?
I guess it doesn't matter to her in the end how it happens. She said that the end is coming and we're all going to die. To her, I imagine making me suffer longer would be better to her than to just end it now.
If I may, that sounds like my vision a little bit, with the feeling of doom and the long shadow, and we should, I mean, it's dancers, so we're gonna take it seriously, but like, we should prepare for them coming here, clearly.
Delphine stares at Forge's head for a moment before she turns and looks at the fire and Willow next to it, but mainly at the flame. Is that what your warning was? Is that what you were telling her, that the spiral's coming?
Roll me a wisdom and occult.
Is it safe to say I'm at rage 2 from all of this?
Yeah, I'd say that's fair enough.
Two successes.
No response.
I'm sorry. What was the purpose of this mission?
I'll look down to my kid just to get my child back. The spiral, my brother took him.
All right. So you succeeded in the mission, and unfortunately, someone did not come back.
Yes, I did what I needed, did what I could, and I got my kids back, but lost a pack mate in the process.
That's the life of being a Garu.
There's a slow turn over to looking at Quinn, and you see there's just like barely contained rage for a moment before just sighing, just never mind, it doesn't matter.
So, the next steps would be, are we mourning or celebrating the packmate?
She doesn't know how to answer that because she's still just staring at the fire, and whenever she doesn't get a response, she finally looks past it at Stakes.
Both. Stakes says as she pushes off the tree and gets closer to the flames. There's time for both. Juniper had many problems, but she was one of us. While she wasn't often easily accepted by some of you, she meant a lot to me and to all of us in the end. She was a warrior of Gaia, and warriors of Gaia are honored and celebrated. And if her last act was to help Forged get his son back, we should celebrate that.
She said she would do anything for her family, that her regret apparently wasn't taking more out with her in the end, but I mean, at least she took down 3 spirals in her last moment and gave her life for me.
War always takes people away, even if we expect it, even if we know it's going to happen. It still hurts, and it's still a pain that we have to live with every second, every minute of every day. But like Steak said, we do both. We mourn and we celebrate. Right now we can feel sad and we can just feel what we're feeling, but we also need to remember all the good that Juniper did for us and the pack, and the connections that we made with her. if we don't remember her in that way, and we don't think of the good times, then we're not respecting her and her death at all.
If I may, if I could get some history from the rest of the pack, I would like to write something for her, if that is appropriate and okay.
Yes, Willow. And she sniffs and swallows around the lump in her throat and tilts her head back a little bit, just trying to compose herself. I think that would be appropriate. In fact, we should have a gathering of the departed for her, but we should wait until the Sept leadership comes back from the dreaming. They should know and be allowed to attend if they wish.
Stake says, looking at Willow, should meet with Jester. She and Juniper. You should meet with Jester.
I've been meaning to talk to her about Galliard stuff anyway, so this will be a good opportunity to do so. And Willow smiles in an attempt to be like, a little bit of levity, if I can get anything here. I've noticed the tone shift.
So, in the time between then and now, Willow, if you would, please speak to members of the Sept. Ask them about Juniper. And if you would bring something to the gathering, so we could celebrate her life. We can all speak and tell a story. And then put her to rest.
Of course, yes. Yeah, I can't guarantee that it will be good because I'm still very new at the storytelling and the stuff, but I will do my best. And they will salute.
Stakes looks towards Delphine and says, while we have everyone together, we should discuss what's next.
She clears her throat and nods. Yeah, there have been a couple of developments since we were last all together. Jordan is now officially a Ghislaine. He knows about werewolves, Guru, and culture. He will be brought on to help with the next thing that our pack is to tackle. I've already asked Quinn and Stakes to start patrolling the area, but recently I found me and Quinn, while we were in Ybor, we found a place of power. We are going to be working towards building a cairn there. A weaver spirit that lives there. It's a cigar factory called, it's abandoned, it's called Perfecto Garcia Cigar Factory. The spirit only speaks in Spanish, so if you try to interact with it, be aware. But the goal is to establish a cairn there and spread the Sept, spread the nation. Ideally, we'll rebuild this place, turn it into a food pantry for the community. Since it's going to be integrated into the city, we need to hide it in plain sight, as it were. There are some challenges we'll be facing. The course, the leeches are only a few short blocks away, the border. And we know above table, we know that the castle is...
Correct.
Yeah. And then there's that nightclub, the castle. It is one of the businesses on the map that Aspen drew so very carefully with the leader of the leeches. It belongs to one of them. That is not even 4 blocks away. And then there's the other threat. Fenris, the cult of Fenris is here. And from what Aspen and Jester told me, their leader is someone who was part of the old sept. A Geru named Brandon or Plato. I don't know which one it is that he goes by now. But he knows of the area. He knows where all of the old cairns were before Tampa first fell. So we might have issues and difficulties and encounters with them. So we need to be on our guard. We need to start having a presence in the city and making sure that they can't gain a foothold.
Stakes speaks up again at this point and says, if you encounter another guru you don't recognize, do not confront them. Return to the sept or one of the elders to ensure that they are unknown. We've had visitors coming through lately, so they may not be hostile, but it's also better not to take any chances. If you have to fight, fight. But don't make that your first priority.
Few questions. So next step is to establish this new cairn at the cigar factory. How much have you, I guess, looked at the cigar factory? Have you actually gone inside for any length of time and looked around, found anything that was maybe left behind, or any challenge you might face if we're setting it up? And then I guess that also extends to the surrounding area.
She chuckles a little bit, and reaches into her purse and pulls out one of the packets that she brought to the meeting with the sept leadership and passes it to Ray. It's my copy. It's the only one I have left, but all of you are welcome.
I'll take it and start thumbing through it and reading as fast as I can, taking in all the information that's there.
I have a few questions and some updates of my own as well. My first question is, who the fuck is Jordan?
I'll look up from the packet and look over to Quinn. Jordan is my friend. He's someone who we were able to unpossess. He was a Fomori, and he was possessed for a long time, but we were able to free him from the Bane. And with the length of time that he was possessed and what he kind of already knew, we kind of had to give him the option of tell him what we are and what we know to some extent, or send him on his way. And he chose to learn what we are, and we told him as much as we could.
Alright, what are we having him do?
There's a machine. The machine that... And she looks to Quinn. He's a He was an engineer in the army. He
Sure.
can help fix it.
What are we doing with the little kid?
At that, Delphine will look at the baby and then at Forged.
I talked with Charles about it, Charles and Sticks about it. I have two options. I can either send my kid to the Georgia Sept, let them legally raise him because he is kin, or I can step back from the fight, from the Sept, from the pack, and raise him myself.
It's gonna be a tough choice for you.
Delphine, like, stops breathing when he says that. And, like, the nails, her nails, like, just dig into the bed of her palm as she just stares at him. Did you decide yet?
It swallows as he'll say, I really want to stay and fight. I want to honor the memories of Sean and Juniper. I can't leave a world that will be consumed by the spiral if we don't do something about it. I can't step back. To say that it isn't tempting to just say no to all this, to just finally stop doing this and to focus on raising my kid, be a lie. I want to be a part of his life so badly, but I can't just sit by and let everything go to hell.
Very noble of you. Updates on my end. I've requested formally to kinseek in the area. I have been interviewed heavily by the Sept leader and have been agreeable to it, with Stakes taking me under her wing. So I will be doing that, along with patrolling the cigar factory in the interim amount of time.
She kind of looks at Quinn out of the corner of her eye a little, like there's just a moment of a glare because of such a quick change in subject over a matter so serious. And she focuses back on Forged. I think that the decision might be best. We need you, and he does deserve a somewhat normal life. And she then will turn to Quinn. Okay, she'll be a little off guard by that and just look between him and Stakes. So you've started kin seeking then?
Not yet. We still have to do the right to discern if there are really kin in the area yet, and then we can go on our hunts for them. Yes, I am aware of the cult of Fenris. Yes, I am aware it is dangerous. I am taking on the buddy system, I wanted to make people aware.
All right. And then we can also make people aware of that. She's feeling a little scatterbrained, just trying to push back that buzzing in her ear. And she will take a moment to pause and just try to recenter herself. So we'll have Jordan, we'll have the patrol, we'll have to start regularly patrolling the area around the factory, and Jordan will be moving in. He'll be gradually introduced to everyone, so that way you all recognize him. But we also need to discuss moving. I think that our time in the house is coming to an end here soon, and I think it might be smarter for us to move into Ybor so we can be closer to the new cairn. The cairn just so happens to be next to some houses that are for rent.
What are the prices on those houses?
Packet. And she will just look at him, page 3. And in the packet, there will be a listing of the square footage of each home, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, and their monthly price.
Flip the singular page I haven't reached yet. Ah.
Except covering it.
No. That is another thing. We need to start pulling our weight. We need to start contributing. If you don't have a job, start looking for one. The factory itself, I have money coming in a couple months. That should cover purchasing that, and as well as the many construction costs that it's going to require to be inhabitable. The houses for rent, they're pay to rent. They're rent to own options. So the more, as much as we keep contributing the rent towards them, that's one step closer to owning them.
Stakes speaks up again. Getting the ability to open your own cairn is a huge honor within a sept, but it also is a huge responsibility. This will, for all intents and purposes, be yours to defend, to nurture, to grow. We're essentially establishing your own territory within the territory. Failure to do so, to defend it, to upkeep it, don't fail.
And as the Sheep Wolf Forge, someone who has been so frequently patrolling Ybor, you're someone we're going to be relying on a lot to tell us about the community and help us integrate that better and easier.
I can tell you more about the community, about people I have seen. I've been mostly there during the night, but I know a fair amount about the place. Just this week, don't expect much from me. This is the only week I get with my kid before I have to make that decision. So don't expect me to get a job, to have all your missions done. I'm spending my time with my kid while I can.
Delphine will nod. Of course. When will you be leaving to take him elsewhere?
To repeat that, you said, what was that?
When will you be leaving to take him elsewhere?
I get a week, and they'll be sending him to the Georgia Sept. I'll be going with him. It'll just be about a 5-hour drive to at least be able to say bye to him, or if you drop him off.
I will be going also to make sure that he is settled in a good situation up there. I have an instinct for taking care of children.
She'll nod. And at the mention of Georgia, she'll also look over at Willow. Another thing. Terrence, the Theurge from the Georgia Sept that's been staying with us. He will be working closely with us on this cairn. He is from Tampa originally. He knows the area as well. He would have a better connection with the city spirits, which, let's be honest, we haven't really interacted with a lot of the spirits in the city. So, make him feel welcome. Willow, you specifically will be working with him to learn how to speak to the spirits in the city.
Really? Really, really?
Yes. You've shown an exuberance to interact with the spirits in the cairn already. Alara aside. But we think that this would be something good for you to learn.
And, like, Willow is, like, sort of rocking back and forth on their heels as they're sort of kneeling towards the fire, just, like, buzzing. It's like the light in the room gets, like, 10 times brighter as they just grin so greedily and so excited.
Quinn, I would like for you to regularly be using that right of kin seeking. I want to know if there are any Fenris affiliates in the area. Or if there are any Guru nearby.
What do you think that right does?
You can detect kin, right?
Yeah, but not Fenris. I'm not gonna know where they are.
I thought you guys could. She looks at Stakes, a little confused.
It's usually shortly after the change. If they've been changed for more than a couple of weeks, it's likely they won't have a scent anymore that we can detect with that right.
Well, fuck. Okay. Well, then all of us will just have to patrol and keep an eye out.
Quinn and I've got it.
You're gonna be gone for a week. I would like someone else with Quinn with the buddy system. Ray, could you?
Yeah, I can.
You can also look at reports for wild animal attacks as well.
She looks at him and narrows her eyes at him a little bit. Noted. And she'll just stare at him for a little bit longer than necessary, just basically staring him down a little bit.
He will stare back with the same intensity.
All right, let's do opposing manipulation and intimidation checks to see who breaks first.
Can I roll insight? Now that this is, like, happening and it's pretty obvious.
Sure. Yeah, what's an insight?
Three successes.
Also 3 successes.
Okay. The stares just last at one another, neither of you breaking eye contact, neither of you breaking away.
Moment that passes, Forge just, oh my god, can you guys just work whatever the hell this is out? Jesus. You new fuck here acting like an ass this whole time, getting all sassy, and now we're having a stare down right now in this moment. Grow the fuck up, you two. Jesus.
Yeah, I'm all for a good stare down. I'll glance over at Forged. But let's continue. Is there anything else that we need to cover?
She struggles to think because everything is starting to, like the buzzing in her ear is starting to get a little too loud, and she's having a hard time maintaining that focus and composition.
Stake steps up and says, as was previously mentioned, the leadership is gone for the time being. How long they'll be gone, we can't say. I don't know anything about this dreaming or how time works there, but for the time being, Charles and Artie are your contact points for leadership.
I'm assuming that means we're also picking up more patrols and being more aware of
Correct.
what's going on. Okay.
And if there's usually more people in the sept than this, so if some of us would be more willing to spend some nights here, that would be preferred.
Stakes looks over towards Willow. I think Willow and I need to get to know each other better. Seems like a good opportunity.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm here always, so yeah, that sounds good.
I'll also spend more time here. Spend a few nights, pick up some extra shifts.
Good. As Delphine had mentioned, there are many threats in the area. If you do find yourself alone, be extra careful, but also try not to be alone either. The Fenris have been using ambush tactics as of late and have already killed one kin.
Who was it?
I don't know the specifics, but I know that the leadership had found a kin and were going to seek them, and they were ambushed and killed. Likely in an attempt to cause their first change that did not come.
So they're also kin seeking and seeking people out.
Correct.
That means that I probably will need a couple of you with me with Cooper, the parent. You can already smell his change, his kin status.
Or I think it might be better if you stay here in the sept with Cooper. You could take Sean's trailer.
There are also rites that Quinn and I could perform to help mask the scent temporarily.
If you can, please do that. Because I don't want the last chance I have with my kid until 14 years from now, 15 years from now, to just be stuck in an RV in the middle of nowhere. I want to have him be able to have at least happy experiences with me before he goes.
We'll be fine. Any questions?
Not a question, but one more thing that was important in my vision from Ember is the man who has been chasing Quinn and I, Rook of Iron Bells, is gathering more Garou to help do something, and they are wreathed in destructive flames. So I don't know what that all means, but that's supposed to be happening rather soon, whatever that thing is. So just be aware of scary Arun, I guess.
But if you can make a point to make sure that everyone is aware of what Rook looks like if he is spotted in our territory. He is of the nation. I do not know what his purpose would be in coming here other than Quinn. So I would advise exercising just caution around him.
There are many Guru in the nation who do not look favorably upon this place. It would not be hard to gather a force under the guise of ousting the heretics. But, and Stakes looks towards Quinn. I think we should go scouting and see if we can get an idea if he's around.
I agree.
Does anyone else have any questions or anything else to contribute?
One other thing. You said we all need to get jobs. How do I get jobs when I have not been human long and don't have rec?
You are an exception. You do not have the social skills required to get a job yet. She looks at Forge because she knows him and she knows he'll say something. We need to continue with your lessons on learning how to be human, as it were. And whenever you start getting better at it, we can start looking into fabricating an identity for you.
Okay. Sounds good. Good plan. Okay.
You know, working at a warehouse usually doesn't require you to talk to anyone, you know that? You don't really need social skills for that.
Yes, and working at a warehouse is usually the first place that people who are picking up individuals who don't have legal identities in this country tend to go, Forged.
Yeah, but she needs to start learning to be an adult.
Yeah, I don't know why you're treating her like a child. That's a woman over there. You're talking to her like she's 6. She's gonna keep acting like it if you do.
There is likely a job opening for a park ranger coming soon. I will make sure that she is ready. That's it. All of you take some time. Speak to whatever spirits you need to come to terms with what happened. Because we can't stop because of this. We have to keep going. Stakes takes one large deep breath. That's it. Says. She turns and goes into the darkness, almost immediately dropping down to all fours, and in a similar fashion as to when Sean passed. After a moment, far in the distance, you hear a howl.
Everyone can leave, everyone can stay. Just do whatever you want. And she turns away, and dropping onto all fours as well, she will follow Stakes and proceed to join her.
Delphine, Ray, before you go, Forge takes a deep breath, kind of motioning for you both to kind of like come closer to him, you know, not really, almost like a little bit away from the other two.
Delphine just stares at you for a moment. There's just darkness in her eyes, and she keeps going.
It's like you just keep walking away. Forrest just like, oh fuck, I missed you guys. I was scared I wouldn't see you again, and I'm happy I did.
So, as the pack goes their separate ways, we bring tonight's story to an end. But not without one last scene. Our final scene takes us to the garage outside of Jordan's residence. Inside the garage, Jordan is working at a workbench. He has clamps. He has a small fire built up and looks to be a fire basket. As we get closer, we can hear the pounding of metal as he lifts a heavy hammer and starts bringing it down on what looks to be a mold of some kind. He then lifts the mold up and takes some pliers to it and pops an object out that goes clattering onto the counter. It's about 1/4 of an inch big, a bullet tip that is silver that joins several other bullet tips that are also silver on the counter. As we pan back out, we see above the table several implements, including several carved wooden stakes. This is where our story comes to a close. Thank you so much to these amazing players. Thank you to all watching at home. Go follow St. Pete by Night on all of that social media. And if you're not a Ko-fi member yet, you should sign up for one for as low as $5 a month. You can get all kinds of behind the scenes information and materials and benefits. And you can even see the Rosebud Thorns for this very session. So go sign up for the Ko-fi by following that Ko-fi link down below. You should also tune into Red Tide Rising, our new Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle, this Sunday, as well as the next episode of Rage Across Tampa, episode 100, where they enter into the dreaming on Tuesday. And then we'll be back next Friday with another episode of Hounds. For these amazing players, I'm Kent. Have a lovely evening, everyone. This has been a St. Petersburg by Night production, produced in agreement with the World of Darkness and Dark Pack. Visit our website at stpetebynight.com for more information about all of our productions and how you can become part of our community. Thank you for listening, and until next time, fangs, stakes, and claws out.